Olá, boa noite. Eu sou Ricardo Lopes Cardoso, estou coordenando mestrado acadêmico e doutorado em administração aqui na EBAPE, a Escola Brasileira de Administração Pública de Empresas da Fundação Getúlio Vargas, e tenho o prazer de contar com a presença e a colaboração da nossa ex-aluna Manuela Lourenço. Manu, obrigado, boa noite, bem-vinda.
Boa noite.
Nós vamos apresentar o programa, e como o programa é em inglês, então vamos agora apertar a tecla SAP e vamos passar para o inglês, tá ok? So, welcome everyone. I'm Ricardo Cardoso, the head of the MSc and PhD Program, the Master in Science and Doctoral Program in Administration here at EBAPE, the Brazilian School of Public and Business Administration from Getúlio Vargas. And I'm very glad that I have our graduate Manuela Lourenço joining me to present the program here. Manu, welcome. Good evening. Well, first of all, I need to read a small statement here, a disclaimer that says, all statements expressed by Fundação Getúlio Vargas employees and guests in our online events and broadcasts exclusively represent their opinions and not necessarily FGV institutional position. We also reiterate that everyone here agree to participate in this event on their own free will, and they consented to be recorded in this broadcast, which will be posted later on FGV's official channels. To continue with this transmission, we ask you to express your agreement by verbalizing or signalizing your agreement. So yes, I agree, Manu. Okay, great, thank you.
Yes.
Oh, while we will present in the topics here, you have the opportunity to ask questions. You might use Slido tool to ask your questions. If you want to be identified, that we read your name and where you are from, please identify yourself. Otherwise, we will keep your anonymity simply if you don't identify yourself, so you don't need to agree. But if you identify yourself and you want us to read your name and when I read and answer the questions, please, you are already agreeing on what I just said, that your name will be exposed here, okay? So thank you everyone for your time here. I think that we should move straight, Manu, to your presentation about your experience here in the program and your thesis, the papers you published. So first of all, let me very quickly introduce Manuela. Manuela Lorenzo is a former student in our MSc program. She joined our master program in January 2020, and she graduated from the master within 12 months. So by December, the same year she joined in, she graduated, she defended her master thesis, and immediately after that, in January 2021, she started her PhD program here at EBAPE with us, and she graduated from the PhD on February this year. So Manuela concluded both the master and the PhD, I can say, in 5 years and 2 months. Astonishing record for concluding both the master and the PhD with high quality, not only the time pressure, but the high quality of her research. And she will share with us a little bit about her thesis and most of all about her experience here in the program. How was her lifestyle while studying with us? So Manu, the mic is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Ricardo, for the opportunity and for the introduction. So I'll start my presentation now. Louis, thank you, perfect. So hello everyone, good evening. It is a pleasure to be here today to talk about the MSc and PhD program at EBAPE. And as Professor Ricardo said, in this presentation, I will provide an overview of my academic journey at EBAPE, and also a little bit about my research and the key findings of my dissertation. I'll try to keep it quick and concise, but I hope to both convey the significance of this work and also my passion for the school and for the research. So, as Ricardo already said, my name is Manuela Lorenzo, and I am currently a postdoctoral researcher at FGV EBAPE in São Paulo, in the Department of Technology and Data Science. And I also work as a researcher with FGV CEMIF, which is a research center dedicated to microfinance and financial inclusion. And I hold both my master and doctoral degrees in administration from the EBAPE. And still today, I am also a research associate at eLab, EBAPE's lab on e-government and e-business with Professor Joia, who was my supervisor. And additionally, I hold my bachelor degree in economics from PUC-Rio. And I have been actually long fascinated by the transformative potential of technology in public service. And my research basically investigates the role of information and communication technologies in promoting socioeconomic development with a focus on emerging economies and vulnerable communities. So a little bit about my research trajectory and personal motivation. As Ricardo said, in 2020, I enrolled in the master program in administration. And actually, my idea was to study the behavior of fintech clients. So I started in the track of behavior and decision science. However, just 2 or 3 months into the program, the COVID-19 pandemic began and reshaped everything, the global landscape, and also a little bit of my mind. And this crisis accelerated digital transformation and exposed deep-seated digital inequalities, especially in countries such as Brazil. And it became very clear to me that technology could serve not only as a survival mechanism, but also as a powerful tool of resilience, particularly for marginalized populations, while also reinforcing or even creating new forms of exclusion. So against this backdrop, I developed my master thesis, Zoom in, Zoom out, the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic in the classroom. And the study basically examined how pedagogical objectives were achieved in virtual learning environments, focusing on the use of Zoom in hard versus soft skills disciplines in undergraduate administration courses. So this theme was largely underexplored at the time, and the paper got published, and then I could go to the PhD. And under the guidance of Professor Joya, which was my supervisor, I was introduced to the field that I work today, which is the ICT4D field, Information and Communication Technology for Development. And this has become a cornerstone of my academic pursuits since then. And as we all know, the pandemic also brought rapid changes in Brazil's financial landscape, and with emergency aids programs, and also in the time with central bank launching PIX, for those who don't know, an instant payment system designed by central bank. And as a result, in 2020, 14 million Brazilians opened a bank account for the first time. And these initiatives revealed the power of digital financial inclusion in promoting socioeconomic development and empowerment. And I started getting even more into this topic as my years in the PhD went on. So basically, my motivation as a researcher is deeply rooted in these observations, not just from an academic curiosity, but also from my personal experience growing up in Brazil, a country that is marked by inequalities. And I've witnessed firsthand the barriers faced by underserved populations. So as a young female researcher from Latin America, from Brazil, I kind of feel this responsibility to contribute to address these structural disparities. So basically, my work seeks to explore how digital technologies can serve as a tool for inclusion, basically and especially in low and middle income countries. So throughout my doctoral journey, I have been fortunate to expand this line of inquiry and also to connect with international academic communities. So I've presented my research at various international conferences, and a particularly milestone was to receive the Best Dark Side Case Award from the Critical Management Studies Division at the Academy of Management annual meeting in 2023, which is one of the most important and biggest management conference in the world. So in February this year, I defended my PhD dissertation, and just quickly after, I got a position as a postdoctoral researcher at FGV EBAPE. So before I talk about my research, I wanted to say and explain a little bit from a student's perspective on some topics that I feel make a difference between EBAPE and other schools, and that really made me a better researcher in a way. So I think some of those topics Ricardo will talk about and touch on later on, but I would like to bring this, which are for me program highlights. So beyond its strong research orientation and academic excellence, I think I'd like to share a few additional reasons why EBAPE offers such an unique and fulfilling environment for graduate students. So one of the key elements that enable us to fully engage in our academic journey is the availability of full scholarships for all students admitted to the master and PhD programs that will work full-time on it. And this financial support allowed me to dedicate myself entirely to research and to my coursework, and free from external work obligations. And in addition to that, there are opportunities to work as teaching assistants, TAs, and research assistants, RAs. And these roles not only offer extra funding, which are particularly important for us, right, but also provide hands-on academic experience, whether through classroom teaching or also collaborating closely with faculty and other faculty members other than your supervisor. Also, EBAPE is a truly international school where all courses are taught in English, and the curriculum is aligned with global academic standards. And one of the program's greatest strengths, in my opinion, is its robust methodological training, especially in quantitative methods. We have access to a wide range of advanced courses, including machine learning, panel data, experimental design, and also AI applications to research, along also with qualitative courses that provide a well-rounded methodological foundation for us. And there are also opportunities for international exchange, including the doctoral stay, which we call sandwich, right? So this allows students to spend part of their doctoral studies abroad. I personally did not choose to pursue the sandwich option, but I was able to attend some of the most important international conferences, as I already mentioned. And I even received funding support from EBAPE that supported my participation in several of those conferences. So one tip is that if you think of pursuing a sandwich PhD, I strongly recommend you to discuss this with your advisor since day one, as the process can be very lengthy and bureaucratic, and also government-funded scholarships for sandwich programs are limited. So it's important to plan ahead and stay informed about calls and about deadlines. Also, the school not only encouraged, but also supports, as I said, this international experience. And in all of those conferences, I've always felt very well prepared and on equal footing when presenting my work alongside PhD students from all those top global universities. And for those considering a PhD abroad in the future, so for those who are thinking about doing the master at EBAPE and the PhD abroad, I truly believe that EBAPE offers the training, the mindset, and the support that is needed to follow that path with confidence. And finally, one of the aspects that I value most at EBAPE is the interdisciplinary academic community. So our students and our faculty come from diverse backgrounds, including behavior science, political science, marketing, finance, strategy, or even, as myself, information systems. And this fosters intellectually rich discussions and allow us to approach research questions from multiple perspectives. And finally, just a few words about my dissertation. So from 2023 until today, I've been studying deeply about digital financial inclusion, and my dissertation followed a multi-paper format, meaning that my dissertation is composed of 3 standalone papers that were developed throughout my PhD, especially between 2023 and 24. And broadly speaking, my research explores how mobile payment systems, especially Pix, have contributed to financial inclusion in Brazil, and how this shift has impacted users' experience across different socioeconomic groups. So Pix has been a remarkable case. It grew from 46% usage in 2021 to over 76% in 2024, and added more than 70 million users to the financial system by 2022. So, but even with this success, of course, challenges remain with, for example, digital literacy, cybersecurity, and so on. And I became interested in this topic by seeing Pix's rapid expansion, and me, together with my advisor, began discussing this idea of studying it more deeply. So basically, the paper 1 of my dissertation is a quantitative study where we basically analyze the key factor behind peak success and continued intention to use. We presented this paper at several conferences and received positive feedback, and is on the way to get published, hopefully. And this led to paper 2, which took more of a more interpretative approach, and we wanted to understand how different socioeconomic groups perceive and make sense of peaks. So we used a theory called social representation and conducted in-person interviews at 2 major transit hubs here in Rio, Central do Brasil and Carioca. And this allowed us to capture a wider range of voices and experiences. And then finally, in paper 3, we adopted Delphi method to consult a panel of experts from the central bank and from the financial markets. And the goal was to identify and rank the critical success factors that made PIX a driver of financial inclusion in Brazil. So together, these 3 papers give a multidimensional view of how PIX is reshaping financial inclusion in the country, from both the perspective of the users and also a more institutional perspective. And just some key findings of this research is that the continuing intention to use of PIX is influenced basically by 3 factors. The first of all is perceived critical mass. So we saw the network effect as being very important. So the more people adopt PIX, the more others will likely use it. Also trust, and the fact that it was implemented and created by the central bank is very important. And finally, relative advantage, meaning that PIX is considered better than other ways of payments and other ways of transferring money. Also, the core elements of PIX social representation, so how people see and perceive PIX, is speed, ease of use, and convenience. However, we saw a difference in different socioeconomic groups. So the importance of inclusion and security varies a lot by group, and people from a higher socioeconomic background places greater emphasis on PIX social value, while people from lower socioeconomic groups usually think about PIX more on an utility manner and how it helps in the day-to-day and in a convenient way. And finally, the top 3 critical success factors for PIX as a driver of financial inclusions are the fact that it's free for individuals, also that it was designed for mobile to use in the cell phone, and also that it has a user-friendly interface. So basically, that was what I was going to share with you. I think my time at EBAPE shaped not only my academic trajectory, but also my personal growth. And it gave me tools to pursue rigorous research, and also the courage to challenge inequality and the network to make, I hope, meaningful contributions. And for those considering the MSc or PhD program, I can confidently say that it is a hard and transformative journey, but it's worth it. And if you're curious to learn more about my experience or more about my dissertation, my research, or EBAPE, or have any questions, feel free to reach out via my email. I'll be happy to share more with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Manuela, for so clear and nice presentation. Very interesting research you conducted here during your stay at EBAPE. But now I will talk a bit about the program, and please, the audience, feel free to start asking questions through Slido, and I will answer them as I just received them here, okay? So I hope you all already see my screen. We are sharing it here. As I said, I'm coordinating the program. I'm Ricardo, and I'm very happy and glad that I have the assistance of Daniele and Patricia to manage the program. I'm showing their photos here because if you send any email to the program at msc.phd at fgv.br, we'll show the email address later on. Most probably it will be either Danny or Patricia that will reply your email, okay? Just in order to reduce the distance. So about the program, we are talking about an academic program, the Master in Science and the Doctoral Program in Administration. So the program, as I say, is composed of these two cohorts, the Master and the PhD. And these two courses are interconnected and share the same values and principles. That's why we used to call MSc and PhD as a single institution here. We are very glad and very proud, not only in the program, but at EBAPE as a whole, that we are credited for the most relevant associations of master's, PhD, and MBA programs. We call the three crowd the first three that we have there, the EQUIS, AACSP, and AMBA, but we are also accredited by NASPA, ICPA, and here in Brazil, we are assessed by the federal government. There is a CAPES, federal agency related to the Ministry of Education that assesses all master and PhD programs in Brazil and grants a rate between 3 to 7. 7 is the highest grade, and we are very proud that we are ranked at the top in this list. A little bit more detailed about the program is the main purpose. Although we manage master and PhD together, of course, the master has a specific goal that is to prepare students to become a PhD student here at EBAPE or in any other distinguished institution, either in Brazil or abroad, or to join straight to the job market in order to apply, as Manuela presented mentioned our methodological content in the program. So very useful in the job market as well, not only in the academia. While our PhD program aims to prepare students for the academic career, to pursue their careers as independent researcher. And they usually connected to universities, they're employed by universities or other academic institutions, including think tanks, not only in Brazil, but abroad as well. Similarly to what Manuela just presented, I have some highlights about the program in this slide here. We collected statements from our graduates, like Manuela, about why did you come to EBAPE? What did you like most in our program? And we organized what the information we collected from our former students among these 4 pillars: road renewed faculty, the quality and rigors of our training, the inspiring academic experience that we offer, and the top-notch students that we have at the school. So I will spend a few minutes about these 4 perspectives, these 4 pillars here. Well, starting through the faculty, I'm very glad and very proud that the professors in our program amazing professors with a very relevant international experience. Many of them are not Brazilian. They pursued all their academic career abroad since kindergarten until PhD. Some of them indeed worked as researchers in international universities abroad. And most importantly, all of us have a very highly productivity in academic meaning. I mean, we develop many relevant research every year. We publish many papers every year, especially in international journals. And here I have some statistics from the last period of 4 years. So from 21 to 24, our faculty members published in total 248 papers in academic journals. And then you might say, oh, they could only care about the quantity. And how about the quality? Well, the quality is amazing because if you consider the reputation of the academic journal, the reputation of the outlet where we publish our papers, 194 over those 248 papers were published in highly ranked journals that CAPES in Brazil assess as A1 journals, and only 26 in the just second tier A2 journals. So, I mean, more than 70% of our publication was published on very high ranked journals. And on the right, you have some examples of some of the top journals where our professors managed to publish their papers from 21 to 24. I will not read this list, but you can see amazing journals, very influential journals in the international scenario. Talk about the quality of the heroes of the training. Manuel already mentioned a lot about it. I just want to highlight that the fact that the program is fully taught in English, it's not an evidence of the rigor of our training, I might say, but I perceive it as an efficiency of our training, because if we revise the literature that influences the research area where we are interested in, definitely the most relevant research were published either by Brazilian scholars in international journals where the reports were published in English. So if we read literature review, if we revise a literature review published in English, and we discuss them in English, we think about the gap in the literature in English, and then we discuss about our research projects, conduct the research, and write the papers, everything in English, we get very high efficiency in this process. And we avoid the pitfall of getting lost in translation, because every translator is a traitor, and we would lose a lot if we do so. But going back to the heroes of our training, so I see that the program is designed for students that are full-time dedicated to the program, and we are getting back to requiring full-time dedication from our students. What does it mean? Is that students shall either not work to commit themselves entirely to the program, or if you work, you need to receive a leave, like a sabbatical leave from your employer. Although Manuela concluded her master in only 12 months, don't worry, you can take up to 21 months to graduate from your master, and then in the PhD, you shall defend your thesis within 48 months. And this is a little bit about the structure of the master program. So, master students shall take a certain number of method courses, specifically statistics 1A, statistics 1B, and one more course related to qualitative analysis, either qualitative data collection analysis or comparative historical studies. In addition, shall take a group of courses from the students' research track, because students choose a research track where they will focus all their attention. And nowadays, we require 3 courses that students take 3 courses from the specific research track that he or she chooses. Manuela said that she chose the behavior decision science track in the master, and the PhD, the institution's policy and governance track, meaning that she took specific courses from decision making in the master, and then institution specific courses from the institute IPG track in the PhD. But even though you choose a specific track to focus your attention in the master and the PhD, you are also required to take other courses we call elective courses. Here, a master student shall take at least 5 elective courses. And which are what does it mean, elective courses? Elective courses might be more method courses than the minimum 3 courses, more research track courses in addition to the minimum 3 courses, or other courses from other research tracks. So if you are enrolled in a finance track, you shall take some 3 courses from the finance track, and you can take courses from any other track as elective course, as well as you can take courses in other master programs, in other PhD programs. Could be from FGV São Paulo, FGV Rio, or either other universities. So these all are counted as elective courses. Plus, you shall take part during 1 year on the research topic in administration. This is a specific course that we offer all over the year. I will explain a little bit more about it later. And meet with your advisor to develop your research. So in total, we there are 34 credits in the program that accounts for 510 hours. But notice that talking about the courses, I mean, you shall take in total 12 courses that accounts for 24 credits. But these 12 courses are 30 hours per course. And on average, our students dedicate themselves 60 hours outside the classroom to prepare themselves to properly participate in the classroom 30 hours. So Manu, can you just tell a little bit about your experience? How was this relationship? How many hours did you dedicate yourself outside the classroom to be able to properly attend to classes and contribute in class discussion? Do you remember?
It's difficult to say a number, but I would say basically double the time. So the same time that the amount of time that I was during class, I was outside class reading the papers that we should.
So in your case, on average, you perceive as 1-to-1. 1
Yeah.
hour in classroom, 1 hour outside. Okay, yes, and I agree that it's hard to measure because it all depends on the familiarity and the interest you have in the topic. Let's say you are very familiar with statistical analysis. So you might take fewer time preparing yourself for statistics 1A. But then for the qualitative course, research method course, you might spend more time since you are not so familiarized or so interested in that methodology. As well as, depending on your proficiency in English, how proficient you are in English, you will spend more or less time reading the material and understanding and interpreting the material. Isn't it, Manuela?
Exactly. And also it depends a lot whether you are on the beginning, so in the first year of the master, or if you are on doctoral, so you start becoming an expert on reading papers, and so
So baby steps.
exactly.
Okay. Thank you. So this is the structure for the master, and the structure for the PhD is pretty much similar, which differs are which method courses you shall take and the amount of courses in the for method, the amount of research track courses, and the amount of elective courses in total. But the relationship is quite similar, that depending on your familiarity or with the subject, with your interest in the subject, your proficiency in English, you spend from 1-to-1 to 2-to-1. To each 1 hour in classroom, you shall dedicate yourself at least 1 hour outside the classroom per hour in classroom, or up to 2 hours outside classroom to 1 hour in classroom. That's why the program is designed and will require students in full-time dedication to the program, because we are indeed demanding. Okay. Just said about the research tracks. Do remember that you shall take a certain amount of courses from your research track. These are the research tracks that we offer. Institutions, Policy and Governance, coordinated by Professor Carlos Pereira. This was the research track that Manuela chose for her PhD. We also have the Behavioral Decision Science track, coordinated by Professor Shania Graval, the one that Manuela chose for her master. We also have the Strategy, Management, and Organizations track, coordinated by Professor Olivier Bertrand, and the Finance track, coordinated by Professor Lars. I do suggest all of you that are in the audience today to take a look on our website, read about the description of each of these research tracks, identify which track you are most connected to regarding your research interest, read the profile of the professors that coordinate these tracks, and most important, not only the coordinator's profile, but read the profile of all the professors that teach or supervise students in each of these research tracks. And then take a look on our CV, take a look on the papers we published, take a look on the theses that were defended under the supervision of professors from the research track you are most interested in. So you can get a flavor of what kind of research we do, to double check if it is what you want to do as well. Do you want to help me with this, Manuela? How was your process of identifying the program when you joined the master in early 2020? Did you take a look on our website? Did you read about the tracks and the profile of the professors?
Yes, of course. Actually, when preparing for submitting my documents and interviews and so on and so forth, I looked for the professors to see which one has more of a fit with what I was interested in. So I chose Professor Joya, and actually he works more in the strategy and management organizational track, and also a little bit of institution policy and government. But as I began, I had this idea to study behavioral economics and decision science, and I wanted, as I mentioned already, to study the behavior of financial clients and consumers and fintechs. So this is basically Professor Joy studies a lot of fintechs and have a lot of publications on that. So first I chose the professor that I wanted to work with, and then we kind of together decided on the track for my master, and then I ended up working more, as I said, on this development area, and then I changed it to institutions, policy, and government, which was actually wonderful because I had the opportunity to take a lot of different classes in different disciplines and ways of seeing. And so, yeah, I really would say to you, give this tip to look to all the professors and tracks and also the disciplines that are presented by the course.
Thank you, Manuel. And here is a suggestion that I give to all those that are in the audience here. Before applying for the master or the PhD, take a look, and probably, if you are really interested, make a contact with that professor that you believe has a good fit with your research interest. And who knows, that professor can read your proposal and guide you through over the process as well. It's completely legitimate. You can do it. You are welcome to do it. Okay? So thank you. So let's go back to those 4 pillars. Where are the 4 pillars? Oh, around here. There I go. I finally found it. We also have the research centers that I will show later because it's too far away from the slide 5 where I'm right now. But in addition to the quality and rigors of our training, also an aspiring academic experience. And I can join the research centers as an evidence of our inspiring academic experience, since the research centers have multiple research projects we are conducting in different research centers at EBAPE, many different research projects. Some of them have budget to pay additional scholarship to students. We have this course that is mandatory for master students during 1 year and mandatory for PhD students during 2 years now. That is the research topics in administration and the opportunity for international exchange. I have specific slides for these, so let's go straight there. About the research topics in administration, as I said, it's a regular course that's mandatory for master and PhD students, where we invite visiting professors to present their research projects, their recently published papers, or their working papers that they didn't even submit to journals yet. So you have the opportunity to discuss upfront research while they are being conducted by the respective author. And as I said, visiting professor, what does it mean? They are not part of our faculty member. They are not members of our faculty community at EBAPE. They come even from abroad or from other universities here in Brazil. But it's very important that we offer to our students different perspectives, different views from different regions of Brazil or the world. And then after the presentation of the paper, the faculty, the EBAPE faculty, the professors here, leave the room there with our students and this visiting professor, where students can ask any question they want about the lifestyle of the academic career there in that specific country or city, the process for applying for the job market in that university, or if you are a master student aiming to join a PhD in that specific university from where that professor came from, you can ask specific details about this application as well. Do you want to help me here, Manuela?
Yeah, I think one aspect I really value about this research seminar at EBAPE is that since we have 4 tracks, a different faculty member coordinated each year or each semester, I don't remember, and
Each
that
year.
means each year, right? So that means that we are regularly exposed to topics beyond our own track. And also we have the opportunity, as Professor Ricardo said, to talk with those international professors and deepen our network with them, and even start maybe an opportunity for an exchange later on. So it's very interesting.
Thank you. Regarding the doctoral stay or sandwich that Manuela said that some colleagues of her took the opportunity to go, yes, we exhort our students to spend, let's say, PhD students at least 6 months abroad, and we provide financial support as we can to assist the students traveling and maintaining for their maintenance abroad. But in anyhow, we exhort our students to have some international experience. In the case of Manuela, attending and presenting her research in different international conferences, the most relevant international conferences, is also a very a significant concern that we have, that all our students have at least this kind of international experience. I will move straight to the research centers now to talk about that. Here at EBAPE, we have many research centers, but I perceive that these 3 research centers, the Center for Banking and Financing Research Center, coordinated by Professor Lars, the Center for Behavioral Research in Rio, coordinated by Professors Rafael and Ian, and the Applied Research Center in Accounting and Analytics, coordinated by myself, are those that are most connected to the MSc PhD. We also have some labs and so on, but you have this email address, this link where you have detailed information about not only these 3, but 2 other research tracks from EBAPE, okay? So getting close to the end of my presentation, I want to go back to slide 5. I don't know what happens with slide 5 here, but okay. That is what I perceive as a very relevant asset that we have, is our students. I'm very proud of the quality of our students, really top-notch students. You see by Manuela's presentation that the quality of our students, and Manuela is not an exception in that regard. I perceive Manuela very amazing students that we have, but if you have the opportunity to see attend to presentations of Manuela's colleague, you see that that is the pattern that we have here in our program. And thank you, Manuela, again for helping me here today. And you can talk more about it than myself. Manuela said something about the diversity, the academic diversity among the students, her classmates. And I also identify some geographical diversity among our students. Although we are based in the city of Rio de Janeiro, we don't have only students that were born and live in Rio de Janeiro city or state. We have students from many different regions from Brazil, indeed, students from abroad. Nowadays, enrolled in the program, we have students from China, Germany, Mexico, Cameroon. What else? I think that right now from these four countries, but we have graduates, students that recently graduated from Russia, Poland, Italy. Help me, Manuela, please. Well, I always forget some countries. So, do you want to say something else about the diversity of your classmates?
I think just a quick comment on the diversity of geographical diversity and also tracks and interest diversity, as we were already discussing. There's something very interesting in the program, which is the Brown Bag Seminar, which is a seminar organized by students and for students. And I had the opportunity to coordinate it for a year, I guess, and it became a project I'm deeply connected to and proud of. So I think many research ideas and collaborations actually emerge from those meetings. And for example, I was struggling a lot with my final paper of my PhD dissertation because I needed input from experts at the central bank. And after presenting my research project at the Brown Bag, I discovered that one of my colleagues had worked at the central bank, and he helped me get access to that.
That's
And
true.
now he's going to be a co-author on the final publication. So for me, I think the Brown Bag is also not only a learning space, but an opportunity for us to go and make use of all of those diversities that we have. And so it's very interesting as well to have this.
Yeah, thank you. Was that Johnny or Fabio?
Fab.
Okay, great. So, and about the academic diversity, Manu just said something about that while in her first speech, but I perceive that we have students from different academic backgrounds. Although it's a master or PhD in administration, we have many students that didn't when are not bachelor in administration or business. They are bachelor in law, in accounting, in economics, in engineering, in physics, in medicine, in many different areas. But what I really perceive as very relevant is the placement of our alumni. You heard that Manuela is already in her postdoc program in FGV São Paulo. That really counts as a really relevant placement for our alumni. And I will show some statistics that I have here. I think this is the one. From the period to 2010 to 2013, I don't have updated statistics about it right now. We graduated almost 150 PhDs. 72% of them are working in the academia, 13 at EBAPE, 88 in other programs in Brazil outside EBAPE, and 7 abroad, mainly China, France, Peru, Germany, and the US. So yes, those that graduated from EBAPE, from our program, our PhD program, pursued job placement abroad in relevant countries, the relevant universities in these amazing countries. In the same period, 1023, we graduated 133 master students. 42% of them pursued a PhD. Most of them, which I'm very proud of, here in EBAPE, 12 in other Brazilian institutions, and 12 abroad. So, as Manuela said, yes, our master program prepares you to pursue a PhD abroad if you wish. And regarding job market, the field of work, the first place for working where our graduates work is the academia as I said, so education is the first field of work, second by public administration and government, and in third place, advice and consultancy. And how about earnings? Almost 40% of our graduates make between 15 to 30 minimum wage per month, and almost one fourth of them makes between 10 to 15. So it's really relevant income that they are making. And about the publications, if I started presenting how many papers the faculty members published in the last 4 years, here I present how many papers our students and graduates published from 21 to 24, the same 4 years period. They published 203 papers in academic journals. That's a lot. And again, the quality is what matters. 60% of those 200 papers were published in top tier journals as assessed by the Brazilian government copies. Just to highlight, 71% in journals that CAPES have access as A1 to A4. So it's really amazing. And I'm very glad to our students and very proud of them as well. And definitely it helps them in pursuing these remarks on their placement, either in the academia. So, about money, fees and scholarships. First of all, we require full-time dedication from our master and PhD students here in the academic program. So we offer a scholarship to all of you. The scholarship might be granted by federal agencies like CAPES, CNPq, or with FGV's own budget. In addition, we offer the opportunity to receive an additional scholarship if you join some opportunities that we have here. For example, Manuela said about coordinating the brown bag, that seminars organized by students for students. Yes, we pay a scholarship there. If you work as a teaching assistant or a research assistant, or if you join the research projects that the research centers are conducting, where they have some budget to pay you additional scholarship. So the idea is that you dedicate yourself full-time to the program, you receive scholarships. This is the main driver that we have here. About the selection process. We organize the selection process in 2 rounds. Both rounds are exactly the same, are equal, they just differ regarding to the calendar. Why do we organize the selection process in 2 rounds? Let me explain. If you apply to the first round and you are selected, you are done. You don't need to care about the second round. But if you apply to the first round and you are not succeeded, that's no problem. You can apply again for the second round. But this is not the main point for organizing these in 2 rounds. As I told you, we require full-time dedication. And we have students from different areas, from Brazil or even from abroad. So we need you to, if you work, we need you to manage, negotiate with your boss a sabbatical leave. And that might take some time from you with your employer. So I suggest that you apply for the first round. So if you are approved, you are selected, you receive the result by the end of August. Then you have September, October, November, December. You have 4 months to negotiate your leave so you can start taking classes in January next year, committed to full-time dedication to the program. As well as if you're not, if you don't live in Rio or even in Brazil, you need to get the visa to move to Brazil, you need to rent an apartment because you don't have a housing here. So that will take you some time. So if you are in this situation, I do suggest you to apply for the first round. So you are selected and you receive the results by the end of August. You have 4 months, to arrange all the documents for the visa and move to Brazil. So the application process, I will focus on in the first round, okay? But you have the data about the second round there. So if you are aiming to apply for the first round, the application period goes until the 18th of July. We will interview candidates by the end of the first week of August, and then final result will be available by the end of August, as I just said, and then you can start enrolling in the program immediately after receiving the results. But anyhow, you will take part in the 26th cohort, so your classes will only start in January 26. But notice that one of the requirements for application in the program is the result of some exams like Teste AMPAD here in Brazil, and these are the dates for the Teste AMPAD exams this year. So if you are aiming to apply for the first round, take the June edition of Teste AMPAD. So it's still time to receive the result from AMPAD to apply to our program. And here you see how the selection process is organized. It's organized in 2 phases. Please, 2 phases are different from 2 rounds. Both rounds are also organized in 2 phases, okay? The first phase is documental analysis. You need to fulfill a quite long form in the application form and upload many documents there. You shall upload your undergrad diploma, the result of your English proficiency exam. We accept either one of these 5. You shall upload the results of your standard tests. I mentioned it, AMPAD, but you can choose to take GMAT, GRE, or AMPEC instead of AMPAD. Upload your CV, a structured CV, your motivation letter. Why are you aiming to pursue a master or a PhD in administration here at EBAPE? Which kind of research do you intend to do? Who you would like to be your advisor in the program? Which research track? And why are you interested in that specific research track? You can bring all this information in your motivation letter. It's in English, please. 2 recommendation letters. Usually, candidates for the PhD ask their former professors from the master to sign the recommendation letters. Usually, candidates for the master ask their former professors in the undergrad program to sign the recommendation letters. And then you identify 2 research tracks in which you are most interested in, like the first option, the first best option, and the second best option among those 4 research tracks. And only if you are applying for the PhD, we ask you to present your pre-research project. But this is mainly to identify your ability to think and structure the academic and research thinking in clear words, so we can access your ability to put your ideas in order in the context of research, conducting research. Oh, Manuela, can you please tell anything about the research project you submitted when you applied for the PhD? Did you conduct that specific research project until the end of your PhD?
No, not at all. It changes a lot. So
Thank you. I
the
would be very
project was
sad
just an
if you
idea.
said yes.
Change a lot.
Yes. Why? I do expect that it changes a lot, because if you conduct and defend a PhD thesis 4 years after submitting your pre-project, exactly the same as your pre-project, it would be an evidence that the PhD program didn't help you at all. So I'm so glad that you changed a lot. Thank you. And then the second phase is the interview. The interview is conducted in English. We will organize the interviews most probably online, especially to allow those that don't live in Rio to take part in this selection process. So that's all that I have for now. Thank you. These are our contact information. I will leave this open for a while I go for the, oh, it's not available anymore, but I need to see the chat. Agora eu tenho que achar o chat aqui. Como é que eu acho aí? Oh, I got it. I have some questions here. Sou mestre em ciências contábeis, posso fazer doutorado, é restrito a economistas. So, one candidate is asking whether he or she could take part in our program. He or she is a master, holds a master in accounting, and wants to know, yes, please, you are welcome. But notice that it's not a PhD in economics, it's a PhD in administration. What I'm talking about here, yes, as I said, we are very proud of the academic diversity of our candidates. And yes, I remember Leo is one of the students that I supervised in the PhD program, and he's a master in accountancy and joined the PhD in administration here. And today he's very happy teaching at Arizona State University in the US. Another question here. Hi, I'm Albanian, graduate from Duke University with master in policy. How can I apply for a PhD? What are the requirements? Is it offered in English? So I think my Albanian colleague, the deputy dean from EBAPE, is also from Albania, Professor Alqueta. So Albanians are very welcome at EBAPE as well. Yes, you can apply. As I said, the program is in English. And if you followed all this presentation, I think I had already answered your question. But if you want to ask additional questions about this, please feel free to use the slide again. A third one. Also, which specific universities abroad does EBAPE partner with? Oh, that's a good question. I didn't bring. There is a long list. I use it to present a slide with a long list of universities with which we have a memorandum of understanding. I prefer that you send us an email and we can talk about it. But let me tell you one thing about this. Talking about the doutorado sanduíche, the doctoral stay abroad. Although we do have a long list of partner universities abroad, usually master students and PhD students don't go to any or to most of those universities with which we have a partnership. Yes. Why? Because usually students go to specific universities where they have a connection, research interest connection. So you are like Manuela. Manuela is very specifically interested in fintech customers and behavior. So we would need to find if she was interested on a doctoral sandwich. We would need to find which university also has a group of researchers dedicated to the behavior of fintech customers. That's very specific. Most probably, we would not find it among the list of universities with whom we have a memorandum of understanding. So we would go through the which papers were most influential to Manuela's research. Which were the authors of those papers? Do Professor Joya, in her case, does the supervisor of the specific student know the author of that paper or knows some professors that teach in the same university as the author of that influential paper to her research? And then we will use, and we really use, our network to connect our students with the universities where are the best fit for the doctoral sandwich. So although we do have a long list of partner universities, rarely our master and PhD students go to those universities, as I said. We prefer to make it like a handmade connection to meet the interest of our students where they best fit considering the kind and the subject of research they are interested in. Okay? I hope I answered your question. Another question here in the same program. I didn't get it. Is the same program? Oh, no. FGV, let me make it clear. The anonymous number 4 asked, is it the same program offered in São Paulo, but in Rio? And the answer is no. FGV has 3 campuses, Rio, São Paulo, and Brasilia. In each of these campi, like in Rio, FGV has more than one school. We are in the School of Administration. Here in Rio, FGV has other schools like law, math, economics, and so on, as well as in São Paulo. But FGV Administration School in EBAPE, in Rio de Janeiro, EBAPE, is completely independent and autonomous from the administration school in São Paulo, EASP. So our program has no formal relationship with EASP's PhD or master program. Although we are all friends, we know each other, we are somehow connected, and our students can take courses there and vice versa, but the programs are completely independent. They have no formal relationship. So completely different programs. And there is no problem that you apply for our program here and you also apply for their program there. And then if you can join the program where you approve it. And if you approve it for both, congratulations, and then you can choose later. Does FGV offer PhD programs for environmental policy? No, we don't have any PhD in environmental policy specifically, but in our PhD in administration, we do conduct research in environmental policy as well. Most probably would be the research track institutions, policy and governance, where you have a larger group of researchers in that field. I would like to know about the English certificate that's required to enroll. What's the level of the certificate? That's a good question. Dani, você lembra? Can you help me, please, with the to answer this question? I will skip this while I wait for the answer. I don't recall. What I said is okay. Oh, yes. Thank you, Dani. We don't, that's it. Thank you. I was thinking about it only for the UNPAD and GMAT. I forgot that. So thank you. Regarding both the standard tests like UNPAD, UNPAC, GRE, GMAT, and the English proficiency certificate, we only establish which kind of certificate you need to present, but we don't establish the minimum score that you shall present. We analyze comparatively based on the candidates that we have. We don't announce the minimum level that we require. I have one more question here for both of us, Manu. Is there a minimum score for? No. Is there a minimum score for UNPAD test taken? No, as I said, we analyze comparatively and we don't announce it. Another back from the Albanian candidate. Yes, thank you. I asked the question in the beginning, so already set. Thank you. Can you please put the slide with the emails again? Luiz, por favor, coloca o slide dos e-mails de novo. O pessoal não conseguiu copiar. Thank you. There you go. And I think this is all. So, Manu, do you want to say some final words in order to help me answer all these questions that I had just answered?
I think you answered everything clearly. Just to reinforce that if anyone wants to talk to me more on the process, on the EBAPE experience, and so on, you can find me easily on LinkedIn, and I also have shared my email, so feel free to contact me at any time.
Yes, thank you. Thank you indeed, Manuela. And if you have any question about the selection process, just send us an email. The email was there in the slide. And yeah, back here, msc.phd@fgv.br, or call us. But please, I do recommend you all to take a look on our website. There you have the regulations, the rules of the program. Most of the questions that candidates used to raise are already answered there. So feel free to even ask us or to search on our website. And thank you indeed for your interest in our program. Hope to see you in the selection process. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Bye-bye.